What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Hearing Hope Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Del Hope, aka Shots by Sean, and today I have she has a lengthy portfolio from being born in United Kingdom, raised in Miami, Florida. She was a British American pro volleyball player, an Olympian, a YouTuber, creative, sideline reporter for you prospects and volleyball world. All the way from Miami, Florida, Miss Ci Michel.
I love that you have the soundtrack. That's awesome.
Hey, I had to
Yeah,
do it.
hi everyone.
How are
Awesome.
you?
Happy to be here. Oh, I'm pumped. I'm
You're
good.
pumped.
I'm good. I'm feeling good. A little bit jet lagged coming back from California, but I am feeling fresh. Got my
You-
coffee and ready to talk all things volleyball and creative and whatever else you want.
I got you. And so you say you just got back from California. Now let's unfold all that you've done this month alone because
I thought you were about to say this morning. I'm like, well, not much.
no, because we just talked off record about like we thought that AVP NOLA was just like 2 weeks ago when in reality it was like 4 weeks ago. So what's been going on with you this past month?
Man, I feel like I've been doing a lot of beach volleyball stuff. Like you and I met in New Orleans, and as you said off air, I was like, oh yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago, but apparently it was like 2 months ago.
Oh yeah.
Um, what have I been doing? There's been a lot of beach volleyball. I went to FUDS, which you were also at, which is a really cool beach volleyball tournament I had never heard of because Miami
Mhm.
people apparently that we just didn't get the message. The memo did not filter down all the way to the bottom of Florida, but it's like the coolest volleyball tournament I've ever been to, and I've been to a few.
Mhm.
Um, I did that, and then I went over to California recently, and filming. I was filming a little bit with Slunks. I don't know if you guys have heard of. You probably have. Anyone, I feel like anyone in the beach volleyball community knows Slunks.
Exactly.
But I met Chris out at FUD, and then when I was in California, I was like, "Hey, let's do a YouTube video and like do a tour of Slunks headquarters,"
Mhm.
which was really fun. So we did that. That's coming up soon, and yeah, I was doing some commentating for the AVP and for Tech Volley, which you may have heard of. But
Mhm.
that's it. It sounds like a lot, but over a few days and a few weeks, it gets spread out. But I love my job. I love it.
I got you. And so, well, we didn't meet in AVP NOLA because I wasn't about to walk up on you because you was already
Oh,
we already established this. And for those that are listening, what happened was I was already
well, what
starstruck.
happened was,
Yes. So I was already starstruck because that was the first time I saw like professional beach volleyball. And I remember I saw a video of you like 3 or 4 weeks ago in on YouTube because my algorithm consisted of volleyball and a bunch of creative videos. And so I guess that's just how I came across your video. But I remember I was walking and you were taking a picture with somebody. I'm sure they recognized you. And I looked.
maybe it was just my friend. Maybe I was taking a picture with them. To be fair, I might have asked because I also got starstruck at the AVP.
I guess that was the case, but she looked like a fan. She did. She was sitting in the
Okay,
stands. So and
okay.
so I looked and I was like, that's weird. And then I took a double take and I was like, and I remember I kept walking. I just like realized I was like, oh snap, that's the girl that I saw on YouTube. And and then it was like from that point on, I was like, I would come up to her, but I don't want to be a fan. But and
No,
so
but here's the thing, like, and I think it's in beach volleyball and all volleyball and also YouTube as well, because we're not celebrities. We're just people that make videos and put them on the internet. That sounds weird when you say it that way, but we're just
yes.
people who like put ourselves out there, and are just comfortable on camera, I guess.
Hmm.
I actually had a similar case. Do you know the Out of System guys?
Yes.
Okay, so I had never met them in person, but I think we knew each other through the YouTube like out like world, I guess, the
Yeah.
YouTube grapevine.
Hmm.
And I ran into them over the weekend as well, and I kind of was taken a little bit back, like, oh, that's the Out of System guys. But as soon as I talked to them, I was like, oh, they're just a bunch of guys, like no, I don't know, there's no stigma, there's no hype around themselves. They don't consider themselves famous, even though in the volleyball community they are. Same thing with the McKibben brothers. Like everyone's
Yeah.
very, very, very cool, and yeah. So I wish you would have come up to me. It doesn't happen that often, to be
Hmm.
fair. But every once in a while, someone will say, or even they'll recognize my voice from some of the VNL stuff or the World Champs or whatever.
Mhm.
And like, oh, do you commentate? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that you said something because I don't know, it just makes you feel really good to think that other people are listening or watching or interested in what you do. So
Mhm.
anybody out there, if you are a fan of Sean and you catch him walking in the street someday, make sure you go up to him, right?
Yeah, yeah. But if you see Key, just walk up to her as well. I guess don't do what I did and just
Yeah.
walk away and then send her a message. 'Cause that's exactly what I did.
Yeah,
But
but
we made
then
it
I
fudge.
mean,
We
yeah,
did.
then
We
we had a chance to meet again. And now
yes,
here we are,
yes.
best
And
friends.
just for record, I didn't even walk up to her at fuzz either. She walked up to me
Oh
and
yeah.
said, "Hey."
Well, and you know what? I also, and this is kind of a weird story, but the night that I went out one of the nights at the AVP, and there was a whole group of people walking around, and I saw a guy that looked, I swear he looked like your twin. And I was like, I wonder if that's Sean. And I went up to him and I was like, hey, are you Sean? He's like, no, I'm Travis. And we ended up actually like hanging out that whole night together and spending an entire evening. And now I have another friend just because I went up to him and said, hey, thinking that he was you, but he wasn't
Hey,
you.
well,
So I actually went up to you twice. So
hey,
one time it wasn't you.
that's more confidence than me. That's more confidence than me. But let's just unravel. First of all, so like your time overseas, you played. Well, first of all, let's talk about University of Miami. No,
Okay, let's do
let's
it.
talk about when you started playing volleyball. Like
Oh
what's
gosh, we're going way back. Okay.
yes, from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from? Where did your love for volleyball come from?
It's funny because I feel like I never truly fell in love with it. You know how some people are like, oh, I picked up the ball and I was hooked.
Hmm.
I was not. I was awkward and tall, and I I only really started playing in middle school when was born in England and then we moved over when I was young. And in middle school, you had to play a we didn't have to, but after school you would choose a sport.
Hmm.
Um, and I originally chose basketball, and then I wanted to do cheerleading, but let me tell you, I put on those little skirts and the little tops, and I was a stick, like a tall, skinny stick, and it
Hmm.
looked ridiculous on me. And I was like, well, I cannot, in good conscience, ever wear this, so I'm gonna choose a different sport. So the very next day, I went out and tried for volleyball, and it turns out, the outfits are equally as ridiculous. Those little spandex that were loose on me when I was that age. So I was so tiny. But I was tall, and the coaches really liked that. Apparently, it's a good thing to be tall in volleyball.
Yes.
So I hear.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I just kept playing and got, one thing led to the next. Next thing I was doing club, and then I was recruited for University of Miami, and then I was, going on to do whatever else I did in volleyball. But
Hmm.
yeah, it kind of just started accidentally, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and we talked about this when we first spoke, just about because you said you were tall, and a lot
Hmm.
of girls are really self-conscious about that. Well, I wouldn't say a lot
Yeah.
of girls. I don't want to speak for a lot of girls, but like a lot of people can be self-conscious about it. What
Yeah.
did volleyball help that with your confidence, your self-confidence, or was it just like you just accepted it? You were tall and you were owning it.
I definitely wasn't owning it. I mean, it's funny because we've been going through some photo albums, and uh, I was so awkward. But you know what I did really well, which my sister didn't do, but she was tall as well. She hunched over and kind of tried to make herself small. I don't know
Mhm.
where I got it from, but I always kept my shoulders back and I walked really tall. And my mom was always, reminding me, stand up straight.
Mhm.
So I think it looked like I was more confident than I was. I always felt as though I was sticking out like a sore thumb. I was head and shoulders above the girls and the boys in my class. And yeah,
Mhm.
it's tough to deal with that. But I think looking back on it, you realize everyone's dealing with something, whether it be your body, your height, your weight, your skin, your
Mhm.
hair color, your grades, your athletic ability. I mean, kids are just mean. So
Yes.
they'll
Mhm.
make fun of anyone for anything, mainly because they're insecure about themselves. So
Exactly.
I luckily I didn't deal with any severe bullying or anything like that. But
Mhm.
yeah, I kind of just, as I got older, I realized it was a great thing to do with sports. And secondly, people tended to treat me positively because of it.
Mhm.
It's not like anyone ever came up and was like, whoa, that sucks that you're so tall. People
Mhm.
were always saying, oh, it's really cool that you're tall, or I love your height, or hey, give me a few inches, or whatever. It
Mhm.
always seemed like a positive. So I just tried to spin it as a positive. And Yeah, nowadays I just realize, hey, it is what it is. You know,
Right.
it's not the kind of thing you can change. So
Yeah.
work on what you can improve on and improve on all the other things in life. And, you
Hmm.
know, that one
Yes.
just sticks.
And
Yeah.
you went to a did you went to a private school, correct?
In high school, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we only had like 40 kids in our graduating class. Maybe that's why, actually. Maybe that's why the kids weren't quite as mean to
Negative.
each other
Yes.
because they were all, there just weren't enough of us. Everyone just got
Exactly.
along.
Exactly. And so, how's the recruiting process for you going to University of Miami? Did you have options? How did that work out for you?
I, it was pretty simple. The
Mhm.
coach, because I was local, I was living in Miami at the time. The coach, I think it was by email, just said, "Hey, we're interested in you. Can we come?" And they would come to some trainings of our high school, and then I would go into the games and meet them. And then I did an official visit, and it all just kind of it seemed like the right fit.
Mhm.
I tried. I was looking at some other schools. I went on a couple of recruiting visits. I went to Georgetown, which my mom was really happy about because it's an academic school.
Yeah.
I also visited University of Connecticut, which my dad wanted me to go to because it's a big public. I think it's public school, but like a big sports school.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope, I'm gonna stay right down the road, 10 minutes away from.
Hmm.
You can't get rid of me that easily. Yeah, it was pretty simple. I think I just, when you know, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so, like, going back into high school, when did you learn that, or when did you think I could play at the next level? I could play in college.
Man, I don't even remember a specific day or time. It just kind of flowed one thing to the next. I think girls around me were getting um were speaking to coaches, and it was just the thing that everyone was doing
Hmm.
because we were, our club team was quite good.
Hmm.
So there was interest from the other girls that were a little bit older than me. So it was kind of just a natural progression is the word I'm
Yes.
looking for. And my sister went through it as well. So I just knew the ropes by the time it got trickled down to me. And I
Hmm.
think because of my height, not because of my skill, I'm going to be very clear. I was not a standout in terms of skill, like ball control, not there, strength, not there, speed, not
Hmm.
there. I was just tall, and the coaches I think saw me as a project, saw me with a lot of potential, and
Hmm.
just had faith, had faith in me, which was nice.
I got you. I got you. And for those who don't know, you played the middle blocker position. Did you play that
Yeah,
throughout like your whole volleyball career?
yeah, the whole time. I think when I was coming up, there was this idea that all tall players had to be in the middle.
Hmm.
Nowadays, you'll see more players move to the outside position, or even like, I mean, every position at the highest level has tall athletes. So
Hmm.
even like if you're a coach and you have a tall player, you want to make her or him into a setter or an opposite, or even outside hitters. That's fine too because at the top level,
Hmm.
those heights are just kind of well, everyone's up there.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen a
Do
lot
you
of that.
play? Do you play indoor as well, or do you?
I I tried. So I started playing volleyball in like November, and I
Oh,
started
okay.
indoor. I started on
Yeah.
indoor because we had like a local club that had an adult league, and it was pretty funny because it was a bunch of people that came together, and I got put into a team. And this guy, like, we met for the first time, and he looked at me. He's like, "How long have you been playing?" I said, "Oh, this is my first day." And he said,
No way.
"Really?" And I was like, "Yeah."
And I'm
And
guessing he was impressed.
I, I only played with him twice, so probably it wasn't the best the first the first two
I
days.
mean, that's
But
tough though, because volleyball is the kind of sport that you have to be really precise, I guess. I mean, in some aspects, if you're just throwing your body around and keeping the ball off the floor or
mhm,
just whacking the ball, but
mhm.
I mean, I'm impressed but you joined it and you love it,
Oh
you're
yeah,
hooked, or
I'm more. I play more beach volleyball, so I
yeah.
probably if I ever do compete, it would probably be beach. I don't know. Fuzz is like top tier right now. I'm just like in the waters trying to figure it out first.
I feel like Fuds had every level, didn't they? Kind of have even like the B or the double B or whatever everyone
Yeah, they
could
do.
jump in.
It's just it's just me getting over my nerves to compete.
Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's also just if you're having fun,
Hmm.
then you're probably learning.
That's true.
If you enjoy the sport and you just want to keep doing it, just the natural fact of doing it over and over and over, you will improve.
Hmm.
So.
Yeah, that's
Don't be
true.
shy. Just jump in.
As of right now, the only obstacle I got face is mental because my
Yeah.
girlfriend gets on to me all the time because I'll play beach volleyball, I'll play pickup, and I'll just leave frustrated. She's like, "You just gotta
Yeah.
enjoy it."
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's a
easy.
sign because people that, if you don't hold yourself to a high standard, if you don't get frustrated, then you're probably not pushing yourself further from what you can do if you're staying in where it's too easy. And yeah.
Exactly. I'm gonna tell her that. I'm gonna tell her you said that.
Yeah. Yeah. Send
Hopefully,
her
we
my
don't get in an
number. We'll
argument.
chat. We'll chat.
But so yeah, back to you. You went to University of Miami.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Back to me. Back to me, everybody. Focus. Focus here. Right here.
so you I went through the records at
Oh
University of
God. Oh
Miami,
goodness. Oh God. No. Why? Why?
and right now, let me see. You actually have you're number one for trying to remember what this is. I think it's total blocks.
No
Yeah,
way. No
yeah.
way.
It said you were number
Ew.
one, I believe. If I'm looking at this correct, it's 122 and 430 sets career, like throughout Miami. I don't know if they
Okay.
didn't update it.
I was gonna say, like, surely that's
Oh,
an old stat. You know what? I'll take it
well,
then.
I
Shoot.
mean,
Hey,
if you look at it
shoot.
now, a lot of athletes are like transferring, and then on top of that,
Oh, okay. As in, I did 5 years at Miami, so that might have something to do with it. I did a red shirt.
mhm.
Actually, no, because you're a red shirt, you can't play, so that wouldn't have counted. You only get 4 years of eligibility.
Couldn't you only play like half the games a season for the season?
No, if you red shirt, you can't play at all. Like you
Okay.
don't even dress out. You don't even put the jersey on.
Hmm.
So I did that my freshman year, and then so that I could have another year at the end,
Hmm.
once you're kind of like stronger and you've worked out with the team and your skills are up. Because, like I said, I was a project, tall, skinny project. My coach was always having me drink muscle milk, those protein shakes.
Yes.
Yeah, just trying to put on any muscle. But yeah, I'll take that stat. Hey, if I'm still record blocks, you said?
I think yeah, it's number one. This is what it is. It's number one. I think solo blocks 122 and 430 sets, and then total you have 573, and right now you're number one on that.
Okay,
In the records, it says that they might.
let's
Um,
go. Let's go, record books. Keep
let
me
me see.
there.
I gotta give you a cheer on that one. That's impressive. That's impressive. It's the fact that like when I looked it up, like when it came to blocks, you were
uh-huh.
in the like top 10 of every
Yeah,
category, and
wild.
so
I'll have to
congratulations.
have send me that link so I can have a look and see if there are any more. Because if I see some names that are within the last few years, then I'll know that they're
Hmm.
updating them. But if I see only names from my generation, then maybe they no.
I got you. Well, I
But
think it was like well blocked. I think solo. It was like you were tied. Well, you had solo blocks total. You were number one, number two. You were tied for three, and then you were tied for six with Carla Johnson. I think you played with her a year
okay,
prior.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. I
it was
played with
like
her.
these were based on the years, different years. So it was like 119, 113, 107, and 91. And well, actually, no, my bad. 39 and 119 sets, 33 and 113 sets, 27 and 107 sets, and then 23 and 91 sets. So
You just threw a bunch of numbers at me, so I have no idea what number means what. But I'm impressed that you went back that far into the record books. I mean, I have to say, I'm not that I do a whole lot of podcasts, but I think that's the first time anyone's ever really dug into actual specific numbers. Like that's research, man.
I had to.
Give
I
it.
felt
I'm
like
giving you the
thanks.
claps as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But but
That's
yeah, so
hilarious.
you did a lot at the University of Miami. What was the best moment for you through your collegiate career?
Collegiate career. Oh man, you're forgetting that I'm so old that happened a really long
You're
time
not.
ago.
You're mid-20s.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, my best moment.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm trying to think of something that'll be really inspirational for anyone listening. Like what did? Oh yeah, I want to do that too. Um, I would just say overall, there wasn't like one moment that really sticks out to me. I think playing college ball was a huge factor in kind of defining me as a person. if
Hmm.
that makes sense. Like the discipline that you need to play at a Division 1 sport, no matter what the sport is, because you're waking up at 6 a.m. to go do a drug test, and then you got weights, and then you go to class, and then you go back for training, and then you go to study hall, and then you try and like eat in between those times, and then you try to socialize or make friends with anyone, in the spare time in there as well. And sleep, oh my goodness, you don't sleep a lot. And I think that kind of set me up for, I wouldn't say I'm a super like hardcore driven discipline, like this is how I'm going to structure my day, but if I put my mind to something, I make sure that I do it, and I know that I'm going to work hard for the things that are important to me. So I would
Hmm.
say just playing a Division 1 college sport set me up to be the kind of person that was going to go after things that I wanted, and know that hard work is just for now and the payoff is a lot grander in the long term. So that was
Hmm.
my favorite part of going to University of Miami.
As an inspiration,
Was
that
that
like
good?
is
Did that sound like,
yeah,
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 that
yeah.
sound like someone
That was
going
good.
for
That
like
was
a
good.
political career or something?
That was great. When did
Yeah.
we only have 7 minutes left on this call?
Okay.
Do you wanna just end it and then resume off on the next one, or
Yeah, 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 that's fine.
we can do that. We can do that. Go ahead. Resume.
Or we can go, let's go 5 more minutes and then end it and then resume.
I got you. All right.
Okay.
So what um led to you playing professionally? Like, because you like you said, it was just other players were getting Division 1, were trying to get these offers in high school.
Mm.
Was it the same thing when you were in college?
Actually, so having said all those lovely things about university, now I'm gonna tell you the dark side is that I actually got really burnt out of volleyball.
Hmm.
So when I ended at University of Miami, I had one semester left that was still on scholarship. So I said, "Oh, I'd love to go abroad. I'd love to go to Australia."
Hmm.
And the school said, "Yeah, we can send you over there for a semester, no problem." And then when I got there, I played no volleyball. I just traveled. I met friends. I, just kind of explored a whole different world that I hadn't been exposed to before.
Hmm.
And so I was, and in my mind, I was done with volleyball. I wanted to move on and do other things. I started working for a nonprofit. I was getting my master's in communication. I was, applying for law school. Like I had all these other visions for myself, and I
Hmm.
ended up going back to Australia and living there for 2 more years while I kept on studying. But
Hmm.
an opportunity came up. Well, I'll say this first. I did end up dabbling back in volleyball, but just kind of casually.
Hmm.
And then I was sitting in the car with my coach at the time over in Australia, and he said, "Oh, the Great Britain team is going to be hosting the Olympics. They're looking for players, and one of our players has just gone over to try out for it. She has a British passport." And I said to him, "Oh, I also have a British passport." And I will never forget the look on his face. He looked over at me and was like, "You need to go do that. What are you doing here?"
Hmm.
So that kind of led to me moving over to Europe. I tried out for the British team. I tried out for a professional team, and that was kind of the kickstart to that next phase of life that, yeah, kind of
Hmm.
led to where we are now.
And so so like once you got you tried out for these teams,
Uh-huh.
was it bittersweet getting back into it, the swing of things, of how it was just all these years of you playing volleyball? Was it like, were you hesitant, or was it just like, I'm gonna go all in because I miss it? How was it?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of go all in whenever I do something, and I won't. It was an awesome opportunity, first of all. And then second of all, I realized, hey, wait, I get to just play volleyball. I get paid to do this. I get to live in a different country. I get to learn a different language. I get to travel. And it kind of seemed like the perfect vehicle for the lifestyle that I wanted to lead.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, once I had found my agent, he found me the first team, and it trickled on from there. And I was like, I never want to stop doing this.
Mm-hmm.
It was bittersweet in that but it felt like a fresh start for volleyball. So I had taken that break and done other things. So then I was rejuvenated,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew how to balance myself, I think, a little bit better.
I got you. And you played
Yeah.
your first 2 years professionally in Germany, correct?
3, I think.
Three.
2 years in Aachen and then 1 year in Hamburg. Ooh, the research failed. The first time the research has failed, Sean.
You got me. You got me. That's fine.
I'm
That's fine.
loving these sound effects.
It's all
So
right.
good.
It's because I looked on Wikipedia. That's why you can never trust
Yeah, you can
Wikipedia.
never trust Wikipedia. No,
So I
no,
guess
no,
all
no.
the rest of this information is false too. But I'm gonna test it though because it said you played in Italy after,
Hmm.
correct? And
Yeah,
that was you were the first British player in history to compete in the EV Championship League.
in the Champions League. Yeah, I actually was. Like, that's actually something that's really cool, and I
Hmm.
will have that forever. Like being the first person to do a thing, like
Hmm.
that's no one can ever take that away from me. Isn't that cool?
Exactly. So on top
So
of
first British player to play in Champions League. Yeah, and we
yeah,
actually got a silver medal the second year I think that I was in Champions League.
yes,
Yeah,
it was the CEV Champions League.
yeah, that's right.
That's
That's right.
impressive. I'm gonna repeat that again
And
so I can say, yeah, it was the CEV Champions League that you got second, so I can leave the year
yeah,
out. I'm sorry, I forgot. But
no, that's fine. That's fine.
nah, it's too late. I made a promise to you I wasn't gonna say it, so we just gonna leave that out. No years
Oh my
involved.
gosh, you're funny.
But you have so not only were you the first British player, you have that accolade, but you also still currently hold these records at University of Miami. So I
We
mean
think,
that's
we think. We
if
didn't
not, then
check the
that's the
record.
SID's fault. Somebody's not
That's
doing their job.
hilarious.
But so you
So
played there,
funny.
and then you went to Turkey, correct?
Yeah,
And you played, and then you played there for a year, and then you played in the French
yeah.
uh
So
first division. Yes,
yeah, Turkey. I played in Bursa, and then I played in France. I played in Saint Raphael, Mulhouse, and in Benel. Yeah,
I'm not saying those names.
some more names. Yeah, yeah, some more names to
I'm not
pronounce.
gonna do it. I'm like, I was born and raised in Mobile, Alabama, and so I'm not going to try any other foreign names. So, but yes, you did all of this, and then afterwards, well, actually, I don't even know why I skipped this. Like it was no big deal. So you played in the Olympics for Great Britain in 2012 in the
You
London
said like it was
Olympics.
nothing.
Like
Yep, that
I
also
was,
happened. Yep, that was there. That was in there somewhere. Squeeze that in there in the volleyball sandwich. Yeah,
yes.
that was probably the best thing I ever did. So I'm glad we
Hmm.
didn't skip that part of the story.
I'm sorry. I
Here
don't
we
know
are, like
why.
going over the like minute details of like club volleyball stats.
Yes, completely forgot
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. No, that was awesome. Like I said, it
Hmm.
was uh, a huge opportunity to just to I don't know, even just being around the people that were at the Olympics. Not even obviously, I love my team, but we were not, the big dogs of volleyball by any means. We were always the
Hmm.
underdog. But I remember sitting in the what's it called, the cafeteria, and looking around, and there's like Michael Phelps and the the Williams sisters,
Hmm.
and um, who's that guy? That guy who's really fast.
Usain Bolt.
Yes, thank you. He was around as well.
So
And
my
LeBron
question is,
James, just like the best of the best were all in the village together. So it was really
hmm
inspiring to just be around excellence, even if
so
I
like
was not
my
excellent.
question is, did you walk up to them and talk to them?
I don't think that I did.
Mm.
I was I wasn't like starstruck, but I didn't want to disturb them because I figured they were, I don't know. I had the thoughts that go through my head that go through everyone's head. I should have. Now that I think about it, I should have just got up and said hi or got a photo or
That's,
something.
that's exactly how I felt when I saw you at AVP NOLA. I was
I
just
am
like,
not LeBron
"Stop."
James, nor am I
Hey,
Usain Bolt.
I don't know. You're an Olympian. There was like 6 Olympians at AVP NOLA. I wasn't about to walk up to any of y'all.
Oh god.
So
Actually, yeah, I was just in India doing commenting there, and you know David Lee. He was a
yes,
middle
yes.
blocker for USA. I think he was at 3 Olympics. And I
Hmm.
also was a little bit not starstruck, but a little, nervous. And now I'm like, oh, we're actually friends. This is cool. But yeah,
Must be nice.
everyone's just human. Everyone's just human at the first.
I guess. I mean, hey, not anybody can just say that they're an Olympian. So, so I mean, it's no
I
big
actually,
deal, right?
no big deal. I put it on my Instagram and everything because I want people to think that I'm, know what I'm talking about when I talk about volleyball. Because sometimes I get haters in the like, for example, I was doing some of the AVP stuff,
Hmm.
and like somebody was like, oh, this announcer doesn't know what she's talking about. And I'm like, I've played a little bit of volleyball, people, so I have to use it. Keep that in my belt, in my back pocket, to
Oh
a little
yeah,
bit of
but I mean, then
street
again, there's
street
always
cred. You know?
yeah, there's always going to be people that are like that on social media,
Yeah, yeah.
regardless. And so your
Everyone's got
experience,
something.
even in the Olympics, I mean, you led the team to a history-making win over Bulgaria and finished in a tie for eighth with Turkey. Correct? Was it eighth or
Yeah,
ninth?
Algeria. Oh, I don't know. We didn't make it out of pool play, but we did win a game. That's where we got that to
Hey,
our name.
that's okay. Yeah, and once again, making records. You breaking records again.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know about that.
Trendsetter at this point. And
Oh
so it's
gosh, hardly, hardly.
but so now, like after that, you played overseas professionally, and then when did that? How did that come to an end for you? Like, how was that experience?
How did it come to an end, or why did it come to an end, or where? Did all of the above.
All those questions. Yes.
Well, COVID, which you might have heard of,
Yep.
hit the world,
Hmm.
and our season shut down. I was in France at the time. This was 2020,
Hmm.
and it kind of reminded me that, oh, okay, your career is fragile. You're coming to the end, and maybe you should learn some other skills, because it turns out if you put "I'm a good blocker" on a resume, nobody cares
Mm.
in
It
the
depends
real
on who
world.
you're sending it to.
I was gonna say, if I sent it to you, you'd be like, yes, that
Oh,
count,
she was
that
the one.
stat, count it.
Yes.
But I kind of was just trying to think about, well, what do I want to do later in life? I want to continue traveling. I want to have a flexible schedule. What are the things that I love? I love volleyball and I love photography.
Hmm.
So that was kind of the time when I started my YouTube channel, and I started making videos and just putting stuff out there to try and help the next generation figure out how to go and play professional volleyball if they wanted to, which I think is maybe
Hmm.
one of the videos that you ended up seeing. And
Yes.
that just led to one thing led to the next. And then I figured out that, yeah, there's a many ways to be in sports without actually putting on the knee pads. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's where that kind of, I knew it was time to stop playing, but I was also happy because I had started doing other things that I loved as well. So it didn't feel like a just like from one day to the next stopped. It was a very casual
Gotcha.
transition. Yeah.
And so was it was it your interest into becoming a creative the first thing that happened, or was it like you became creative, then you became a sideline reporter? How did the play-by-play commentary, how did that happen?
I feel like, and when you look back on your life, you're like, oh, it all makes sense that you have these little things that add up to something. Like I was
Yeah.
always really creative when I was younger. I loved um like drawing and painting and pottery and just anything with my hands. And I think that's kind of where the visual side of it came in, like why I love photography and videography. It's all digital, but you can play with colors and lighting and different
Hmm.
angles, and you can make something from nothing. Like, you understand, right? When you're a
Yes.
videographer, you just look at something. Everyone else is looking at it with their eyeballs, but you
Hmm.
capture it with your video, and then you can turn it into something that you can relive for years to come.
Yes.
So that's the creative side. And then um, I had also studied communications, and I don't know, I guess I'm okay at talking. And so those things
Hmm.
just kind of came together in a perfect unison of, I don't know, of something, so that
Hmm.
I feel like I found the thing that really, it works for me. And
I got you.
so yeah, I kind of just fell into it. So to answer your question, how did I end up doing it? I made these videos, and then the CV reached out to me because they needed a podcast host. And then from that, I met someone who introduced me to doing the VNL commentary. And then from that, I ended up, that led to all of the commentary that I do. And then
Hmm.
the sideline stuff, I had worked for Athletes Unlimited. I played for Athletes Unlimited. And while I was there, that's the professional league in the US. And while I was there, I was making videos just like I always do, YouTube videos, blogs, whatever. And they said,
Hmm.
oh, that's kind of cool stuff. Can we use it on our social media? Can we use it on the broadcast? And of course you can. Yes, absolutely. And then the
Yeah.
next year when I had retired, the producer of that show asked me if I would come and do some more video stuff with them. So that's kind of what led to the sideline, quote unquote, reporting, vlogging,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to call it.
And so, did you have
Yeah.
any prior experience doing live commentary?
No, nope.
How
Just
was
jumped in.
that first gig for you?
Actually, I remember doing it once. So I had done it once a few years ago before I retired, maybe back when I was still playing in Italy. I'd done one, on the mic commentary, and I hated it. I was nervous, I was sweating, I was questioning every word that came out of my lips. I second guessed myself. I thought my opinions were stupid. I didn't learn the names perfectly, and I just hated it, and I was stressed, and I said I'm never doing that again. But then when it came up the second time around, I think because I had been doing all the video stuff, I was comfortable on camera, I was comfortable talking. It was just a different time. It was the right time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I love it because you realize no one's actually listening to you anyway. Everyone's just watching the volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's important for, I think if anyone's listening and they're thinking like, how could I do something that I've never done before? So and so is so much better than me at that. I'll never be at that level. Everybody starts somewhere. Everybody's nervous. Everybody is bad at something. I think as adults, we're too critical of ourselves in a negative way. I mean, yes, you have to be critical in order to get better, but you have to just accept the fact that you're going to be bad at something. Like I was telling you with volleyball, and you're right on par with it, that you're saying, hey, I come away frustrated because I want to be better. But the only way to get better is to continue doing it. And by doing it, you're going to be crap at it at first, but I don't know, as adults, we just have to learn. Like kids, you fall over or you color outside the lines or you like wobble on your bike. And then eventually you're a BMX biker, or you're, Olympic athlete, or you're an artist who gets paid for their money or paid for their art. You just do it and you get better. That's it.
Yes. And I mean, well, most people, because I mean, your accent is not, I wouldn't even say is Florida accent, really. I mean,
Definitely
even
not.
like, what was it last week that you posted on your story that somebody pointed out your accent
Yeah.
in the comments? And so do you get that a lot
Did
about
I?
like how, because I remember when I first met you, I was like, yeah, you have a very unique accent. It doesn't sound
You're
like
like, where
I
are you
haven't heard it
from?
before.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a little British, a little Australian, a little bit American, a little bit. Also, living in Europe, you have to be clear and enunciate your words, because when you're speaking to people with English as a second language, you have to really try to make yourself understood. So I think I just, all of those things combined, that's my accent. I don't know.
Well, hey, this is a very unique one. So I mean, kudos to you. It's something else that makes you stand out.
Thanks. I hope it's not too annoying. You know when you hear the sound of your own voice and you're like, ah, is that
Yes,
what I
like
sound like?
when I first started editing all my podcast episodes during COVID, because that's when it started. I hated hearing myself, and I
No,
still
but
do till this day.
there's no
So
way, because objectively, you have an incredible voice. It's like
thank you,
low and soothing, and just it feels like I would listen to you. No matter what you're talking about, I would just listen to you.
thank you. I
You know what
appreciate that.
you should make one of those podcasts where you like read from a book or something to put people make people calm.
I've
You
heard
know what I
that
mean?
before.
Yeah,
I
like a
have.
sleep podcast or something. I'd be like,
Yeah, but the thing is, it's just like I don't like reading. I
oh,
don't
okay,
like
okay,
reading like that. But I mean,
okay.
I do get compliments all the time. I think it was.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a Whataburger in Miami?
No, but I think I've heard of
Whatever.
it.
Yeah, I was in the drive-through yesterday. No, it was yesterday. And then the guy in the drive-through was like, "Has anybody ever told you you sound like a superhero?" And I was like, "That's a new
Yes.
one. I've never heard that one before."
Wait,
So
seriously, you should go into voiceovers or something like
I have
that.
I've done that. It's
Of
just
course you
I
have.
haven't
Of course
really.
you have. No, but
It's just I haven't
also
really explored it.
like scratch that, because you also have a great face. Like you could just be an actor.
I don't know, because then I'll just be acting like myself. Because I don't know about like putting on a different persona. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, you know what you should do?
But thank you.
Podcasting and videography. You're like, check and check.
Exactly what I'm. I got you. That's what I'll do. I'll stick to it.
You're like, okay,
So,
okay.
but do you think that you're more comfortable behind the camera or more comfortable in front of the camera?
Um, It depends.
Mhm.
I like both. I like clearly I like talking about myself because I've spent the last 30 minutes doing it. But
That's okay.
I I don't mind being on camera. I think I've gotten used to it. I wouldn't say I'm it's evolved over time. I was never the
Mhm.
kind of person that was posting tons of selfies or like, really wanting to share everything I did, but the more that I do, the more comfortable I am with it, if that makes sense. So I
Yes.
like being on camera if I have, I don't know, something cool to do or something cool to say. I also
Mhm.
love being behind the camera where you can capture everything else that's happening. I guess I like to do kind of a balance of both. So in my
Yes.
YouTube videos, it's a lot. Sometimes I'll be on camera, like holding it, vlog style,
Mhm.
myself and my guest, whoever it is,
Mhm.
and then also just like fly on the wall, capturing everything that's happening and kind of interspersing those two together. So I don't know. I can't choose one. I like both.
Yes. And I mean, even the B-roll that you got at first, I was thoroughly impressed because I was just like, I don't really do B-roll a lot. And so when I saw it, I was
What?
like, this is pretty dope.
B
I
roll's the best.
mean,
I'm a
I've
B
never done
roll.
it.
I'm obsessed with B roll because it's
Oh.
so easy, right? You just put it into my camera only goes up to 60 frames, but that's
Mhm.
enough to slow it down.
Mhm.
And then you just film whatever you want. Plus, I have the 70 to 200 lens, so it gets everything
Yeah.
really compressed.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then you just slow it down, put it in slow motion, put some music to it, and everyone's like, "Whoa!"
Mhm. Are
You're like,
you
"Yeah."
shooting 60 frames per second in 4K or is it 1080?
No,
What do you
I
got?
only have 1080 on my. I have a 60 Mark II, so it only does 1080.
Okay.
So it's
Do you
not
plan
quite
on
as crisp as it could be, but
that's fine.
I haven't upgraded yet because I don't know. I feel like I want to get better at this at the actual get better at it before I just get the latest gear, if that makes sense.
No, I get it. My friend Jacoby, he's a creative here in Mobile. Um, he got mad at me when I bought my first camera because I was using the Canon that my church provided for me,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, I just rather have my own camera, and I
Yeah.
had the money for it. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, like I don't know what Canon it was, but it was really hard to get the battery out because you had to like get your nail under it.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, that's what sold the deal for me. I was like, man, let me just go ahead and drop this money on this
Yeah,
camera.
yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah, but then also
so,
you have it whenever you want and you have, the latest. I don't know.
mhm,
Yeah.
exactly. And so, do you plan on upgrading? Like, what is the
I
dream
know.
camera for you?
It's funny. If you had asked me this a year ago, I would have probably had this ready on the tip of my tongue because that's when I was using it a lot more and I was, you know, watching a lot of videos about the latest and greatest gear. And I guess the can't no, not the can't. I would upgrade to Sony
Hey,
just because they're more video friendly, I think. And
yes.
I'd probably get what is it called? The
Is it A7?
Sony. Yeah, yeah.
So I use the A7 IV,
A7R
A7R5.
maybe.
Ooh, that's a pretty penny.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if I were to upgrade, I'd get the best of the best, but I don't need that because I'm not I
Mhm.
am I do earn money sometimes with the videos that I make, but not to the level where it has to be, no one's
Yeah.
pixel peeping for the stuff that I do.
I get that. I
Yeah.
understand.
And plus
So like,
to upgrade an entire kit, because I have everything Canon right now.
oh
If
yeah.
I went to Sony, you're not only getting you have to upgrade your body, you need a second body as well. You need at least four lenses. So you're talking
Yep.
$15,000 right there.
Yeah. Now that you put that in perspective, because I have
Yeah.
I have spent a lot of money on
Yeah.
on lenses.
I know,
So
right? If you look back. Oof.
yes, and I'm still trying to get some more lens now. I'm trying to get the 24 to 70. Or do you shoot vertically or horizontally?
Depends what I'm doing. If I know I'm doing it for YouTube or for Instagram, then
Mhm.
I'll just flip and do portrait.
Mhm.
But YouTube videos, I do them landscape.
I get that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was trying
Yeah.
to figure out because you had B-roll of FUDs and it was clear. It didn't look like it was in 1080. It looked like it was in 4K. So it looked
Really?
like you did. Did you have to scale it? Did you shoot vertically?
I shot
Oh,
vertically.
okay. So you didn't have to scale it at all in
No,
post.
no, 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 no.
See, that's what it is. Because
Yeah,
I
and
shoot
that's the thing.
everything.
If I know that I'm just gonna use it for Instagram, then I'd do that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not losing any pixels because you don't have to scale, and
Yeah,
that's why.
exactly.
Because I remember you tagged me in something, and I was in it. I was like, man, I look like a Sasquatch the way I was walking. Cause I was looking at this. I was like, man, but
No, and you
yeah,
know what's funny? Because I had filmed you, and I think I like it wasn't perfectly in focus. And
mhm.
sometimes I'll cut those clips out, but I was like, no, I really want Sean to be in this video. So even though I wasn't totally happy with that little clip, I was like, no, I'm use it.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate. Man, that means a lot to me because I was in like two of your reels. I was like, man,
Yeah.
I feel like an Olympian myself now.
Oh, yeah. I
But
mean, we're friends, you know? We're friends now, so we're
what
friends.
is so like what is on your wish list as now? What is on your wish list as far as gear? What does your gear look like? What's your setup?
Oh man, what do I have right now? So
Hmm.
right now I have a 6C Mark II. I actually have two of them, which is overkill, but because the audio broke, like
Hmm.
the insert on one of them broke, so I got a new one. I was planning on selling the other one, but I haven't yet.
Hmm.
I have the first one that I got, which was a Canon Rebel or whatever,
Hmm.
the original.
Yeah.
Then I have, as far as lenses, I have the 16 to 35, which is the vlogging lens. I
Hmm.
have the 70 to 200, which is that long for compression. I have a 50 prime, a 35 prime, and what's the pancake one? Maybe that one might be like
I mean,
20 something.
hmm.
Am I missing anything?
What's your
Wait,
microphone?
am I missing any of them? I think that's, yeah, I think that's all. Oh, and then I have, oh, what's this microphone? Oh gosh, I don't know. The CEV sent me this when I started podcasting with them.
Must be nice.
I actually get like it, yeah, it is. And also I have a remote commentating setup, which is
Hmm.
a Scarlett, I don't even know what it's
Yeah.
called, but the Scarlett
Audio
that you plug
interface.
in, yes, and then the
Yes.
headphones with the headset. And
Hmm.
then the AVP, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna have you do some remote commentating, so we're gonna send you some gear." And they sent me the exact same gear that I already had. So now I have two versions of that as well.
That's
I
beautiful.
feel a little bougie. Yeah, now that you say it, like now I'm feeling a little bougie.
Yeah, it must be. You living
Must
the
be
dream
nice.
right now.
Must be nice.
Golly. And on top,
Golly.
we didn't even talk about the whole slunks thing that you did at the
The
headquarters.
slugs.
Yes. How did that
I
come
just
about? Well, you already explained
so
it.
yeah, so slugs are I, they're such a cool brand. And I also was a little bit and we keep saying starstruck, and it wasn't necessarily starstruck, but I had seen them and I thought like, oh man, it's so cool. All the cool AVP kids wear slunks. Like
Hmm.
I want to get some slunks gear. And I was thinking about when we were at the AVP New Orleans, my friend that I was with went over and bought a hat, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a hat too. And that was kind of like goals.
And
Slunks
that
hat. Hashtag
was that the
goals.
hat that you wore at Foots like the whole time?
No, because then I went to Fuds and I walked over and I was gonna go get a hat, and they were like, "Yeah, oh, no, here's what it was. I went to the Be Fresh tent and I tried on one of those bucket hats. Um, and I thought, I don't know if I'm a bucket hat person. Then I went over to the Slunks tent. I was like, I'm gonna get a hat from them. Yeah, that's more my style. So, and they were like, oh yeah, you can, you should just take it. Like you're a friend of a friend. Like really? And then I met Chris a little bit later, and he was like, yeah, have these shorts too. Like you just, I don't know what he said. He said something like, just make him look good or something like that. And I was like, man, he's so generous, so lovely. I don't know if he knew that I was a YouTuber or if I was just a friend of like he's a friend of Cody, and Cody and I had done this India League together.
Hmm.
And then next thing you know, like I was like, I'm coming over, like let's hang out. I'm coming to the Slunks headquarters, and he's just I don't know, just giving it all away. And I'm like, man, he's just so generous, so generous.
That's
And now
beautiful.
I feel cool. Now I feel like I'm one of the cool kids.
So it's not the fact that you breaking records at Miami. Well, you broke
I
records
don't
at
think that
Miami
had
and you're
anything to do with
Olympic.
it. No, no, I
Once you
really
get
don't think so.
slunks certified, you just like, this is it.
This is it. I can retire now. I can die happy. I'm a slunk. I'm a slunky.
I think it was the first time because Troy Fields, he competes in AVP,
Yeah, yeah,
and
with a pink hat.
one, yes, I was sitting at AVP Nola, and he walked by because I was videoing the match before him, and he was standing right next to me, And
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Slunk stuff on Instagram, and I remember
Yeah.
like he was. I saw that he was wearing Slunk shorts, and I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. And then once again, it was just like you. I was like, wait a minute. I've seen every Slunks ad that I've seen. It was Troy.
Him. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was in shock, and then on top of that, he did really well in the tournament. So I was like, of course, now I see why he's
Yeah.
sponsored.
Yeah.
Now I know why.
Oh, he's incredible. I was doing the commentating on one of his games, and the
Mhm,
statistics, I don't know how they ended up this way, but he ended up with 107% efficiency. Like, explain that to me. He had more kills than attempts. Like, that's the way that you calculate it is kills minus
mhm,
errors over attempts, and he
mhm.
had more than 100% efficiency. I was like, this is insane. This child is so good.
Was that accurate, or was it
No,
it
I
was just
think they had made a mistake, but
I missed it?
yeah,
I mean,
but
it's good.
he still had like 15. He had zero errors, that was for sure. But he had like 15 or 20 kills with no errors.
I mean, that's
Crazy.
good clickbait just to have on
I
AVP.
know. I know.
At this percentage. So, but no, I look forward. Are you going to AVP Atlanta?
I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to go to any of them more
Mhm.
because I have some other things coming up this summer. I'm going to try if I'm available. If I'm not on site with another job, then I'll definitely come to
Are you
any
doing
of them, any and all of them. They're always so
Are you
much fun.
doing VNL the finals in
I,
Arlington?
I'm not doing Arlington. I'm doing. I know it sucks. I'm doing Korea and Philippines, and then that's it. That's the only Vietnam I'm doing this summer.
Oh, well, I'm sure Philippines would be great. My mom will be so proud when I tell her that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, your mom's
I'll
from there.
yeah, I'll tell my family to go over to
Are
see.
they still around? Do you have family over there?
Yeah, they still live there. I think I have on my mom's side, I have family that resides in Texas, and then the rest of them live in the Philippines. They live in
Well,
Cebu though.
tell them to
I
come
don't
say
know.
hi. I think I'm not sure where we're going. I can't remember the name.
That's fine. That's probably another name that I
It's a
can't
big
pronounce.
city. It's a big central city.
It might. What's the other one? I forgot. I should know these because the Cebu's one, and then it's the
I
other
should know
city.
as well because I'm going there, but I can't remember.
And that's okay. That's just what happens when you're famous. You just don't
No, that
know.
happens when you have too many things and you fly red eye and then you just all your brain cells are on sleep mode.
That, that's true. I understand that. I can't relate, but I understand what you mean. What would you say back to your content, your
Mhm.
media? What would you say was your first big purchase as a content creator?
First big purchase.
Hmm.
Um, well, I mean, the camera, like each lens seemed like a big purchase at the time,
Hmm.
but I always just justified it somehow. Like, like the 70 to 200, that lens.
Hmm.
How much did I buy that for? I think it was like, I bought it used. I think it was
Of
like
course.
900 euros. And I was like, oh man, like, is this a luxury item or do I really need this? And I cannot tell you how many times I've whipped that lens out and been like, that looks so good. That looks so good.
Hmm. Is it a
So I
2.8?
don't, it's a 2.8, yeah. It's the original one though, so it's not internal stabilization and it struggles a little bit grabbing focus,
Hmm.
but oh my gosh, it looks so good with the compression in the background and even photo or video. It makes a huge difference from I posted on Instagram just recently like one of those, you know that sound that goes ba 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 da. Wait, I can do that better. What it was like
Yeah, yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? So I put
yeah.
the iPhone photo or iPhone videos panning around Huntington Beach, and then I put a video, a slow motion, or maybe it wasn't even slow motion, but using that lens, and it just looks so good compared to the iPhone. So I'm
Hmm.
glad that I made that purchase, and I also bought this very expensive computer, which is a MacBook with the M1 chip that I bought like a year, maybe 2 years ago now, whenever it came out. I don't remember
Hmm.
exactly when it was, but that was another big, unnecessary but kind of necessary purchase.
Well, no. Well, what's the specs on it? Is it one of those maxed out ones that have the the high RAM?
It's I definitely didn't get the maxed out because the jump from what I was using a 2015 MacBook, and this one was what 2022 or something. So it was
Hmm.
already a huge jump that
Hmm.
I think I just got the base model and it was enough with just a little
Hmm.
bit more memory. Um, but it's so much faster. I mean, editing was the main, the spinny wheel was the big problem when I was editing on the other computer. And this
Yes.
time it's like a dream. It just also because I'm not editing 4K, so I don't need that much
Hmm.
space or hard drive or RAM or whatever it's called. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. Love
No,
it.
you're not editing with 4K yet.
I mean, if it slows me down, I probably won't. I don't know. You tell me. Is it a huge difference on the computer? Does it kind of,
Well, for me, I have to, because I have the base model MacBook.
yeah,
I think it's 2022, and
yeah.
when
With the
I
M1 chip, the one that just came out. Yeah,
it was the first M1 chip, not the Pro or
yeah.
the Max. So
Oh,
when I
okay.
yeah, so when I edit 4K, I have to put my videos into proxies, and so like
Oh, yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
compresses it, but like then again when you export it, it goes back to the 4K footage,
Gotcha.
and
And that makes that
yeah, but I mean
that's
for
fast enough.
I think the only reason that I struggle with 4K and 1080 is because I only shoot horizontally, and so when I scale 10 120 frames 1080p,
Yeah.
um it just looks terrible. So
Okay.
I
You
don't do
got to
what
do
you did the smart thing and shot vertically. So
it.
that's just how that works.
But what do
But
you do? Most of your videos are for Instagram
Instagram.
or for YouTube or
It's usually for Instagram, but like
uh
the thing is it's like it acts as a clutch because then it's like, oh, if somebody wants me to do a highlight in like YouTube format, then
yeah.
I can do it because all my footage is already horizontal.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, what you're doing with the B-roll just for Instagram and shooting vertically, I have friends that
Yeah.
shoot vertically only, and but for me, it's just in case I always have to have a clip to
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Sometimes
And
what
so,
I'll do is if I know I'm just going to make a highlight, I'll film one clip vertically and of the same thing, basically, like 2 seconds of this, 2 seconds of
yeah,
horizontal, but that's extra work. So yeah,
yeah,
you're probably
and
doing it
so
the right way. But you do
nah.
mostly highlight videos for people? Like what's your,
Um, I usually do it. Well, right now it's just like because I love volleyball and I love being around it. So like, for example, next week I think there's like it's the USA Open Championship in Texas, and I'm trying to see if I can just go and shoot because I have a sister that lives out in Dallas, and
oh yeah,
so I'm trying to see if I could just go and try to film that just because I mean the thing about volleyball, especially beach volleyball, is not it's not really publicized as much. So
yeah,
it's a good thing to get into because these are really good athletes and nobody's really covering them.
yeah,
And so like with AVP, the media crew at AVP is incredible. Like Frito and all of those Chatty Daddy, all of
yeah,
them great people. And so
yeah.
being able to shoot those tournaments are the best thing. It's just trying to find a way in really. So
Yeah, but also I think if you just start doing it like you're doing, you just show up, you do it,
mhm,
you show what you're capable of, and then it's like, oh, are you coming to the next one? Are you coming to the next one? Next thing you know, you're in the crew that's doing it. I feel like that's
exactly.
kind of the way that things work is
Yeah.
you don't need like a formal invitation, you don't need to apply for anything. You just start doing it and they like what you do and then they start like using your stuff or hiring you to
Mhm,
do more stuff. In
exactly.
my
So
experience, that's how it works
yeah.
out.
And so it's been a blessing being able to shoot all these things, especially like not just volleyball, but like basketball as well, because there's a
Hmm.
lot of talent in this area for basketball and
Yeah.
it goes unnoticed. So um, being able to cover that and post it on social media because
Yeah.
all athletes love social media content,
Yes.
and
Yes, they
that's
do.
been the best part. Yeah, and I can't tell you, I shot this tennis tournament. There was a bunch of athletes just messaging me, asking me for all my videos.
Yeah.
They didn't want me to edit. They were just like, "Hey, can you send us all of the videos you got of us, only us?" And I was like, "It's a hard. That's the gray area. It's just trying to
Yeah.
figure out and
But you know
trying to
what?
send it."
And oh yeah, because there's so much, it's like just hard to do just logistically because yeah, where do you send Dropbox or whatever? But
Yeah.
also like you can get, I could just feel like there's so much. opportunity in it. Like so many people love videos of themselves or need videos of themselves or just
Hmm.
if you want to help promote the sport. I mean, there's just so many opportunities to just make a name for yourself and make a business, a future business for yourself as well.
Exactly. And that's why I try to get all my creative friends because most of them do like businesses and weddings. I'm like, you
Mm.
guys are in the wrong profession. You need to come over to sports because
Well,
sports
there's
is always
money in
popping.
weddings. There's a lot of money in weddings, to be fair.
There is, but like my friend Michael, I'm trying to get him into sports because he's like stressing out over weddings. And I said, bro, I would be stressed out too because it's like they're not the ones stressed out. It's like your responsibility to get the
Yeah,
shot. You
yeah,
only get one chance, and it's like any
yeah.
errors that you make, it could make or break you, or just give you a hard time.
Yeah. But in sports,
So,
there's a bunch of different angles you can get,
hmm
and yeah, and also a sports match is usually what like an hour long, and they only need a few clips, a few little highlights.
exactly. So I
Yeah.
mean, me personally, I can't just sit through a wedding and just sit there and record the whole time. Versus the game, like at least there's something going on that's exciting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, marriage is exciting, but
You don't have to say that. Your girlfriend's not here, or she might be listening. I don't know. I don't know.
she will. She'll listen to
She'll
it.
be listening.
Love you, Rachel.
She loves you. She loves you.
Well, but yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Well, as far as like, what advice would you give to somebody that was in your shoes in high school? We have 5 minutes on this call.
Oh gosh.
What advice
Okay.
would you give to somebody that's in high school that wants to pursue professional volleyball, even if like other teammates are not like trying to get offers or trying to play collegiately? What advice would you give to that young volleyball player?
I would say watch my videos. No, I'm just kidding. I would say, you know, there are so many opportunities to continue playing. You may think the only thing you want to do is go to Stanford and get a Division 1 scholarship, full ride. Like, okay, that's the dream. That's A. That's plan A. But there are so many other plans, like all the way A through Z, that you can still continue playing at some level, enjoy your sport, and continue on with your life. So I would say work on all your fundamentals and become the best volleyball player that you can. A. B. Make good contacts and um, let people know that you're looking to play at a higher level because sometimes, if you don't ask, you don't know. It's always a no if you don't ask. And then three, I don't know, consider going pro as well. So if you do play college or if you don't, there's Europe as well. There's plenty of leagues that are always looking for fresh talent and players. So yeah, my advice would be just do it. Just do it. That sounds so lame.
Oh, that's good. I'm good. We like that. We like that. As far as like creatives, I know that this is pretty much, I'll probably say the same thing. What is your advice for somebody that's interested in getting into creative work or videography, or just like you got a communications master's and you got psychology's bachelor's,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, Miami's website was right about that. Cool. But what advice would you give somebody to like expand their skill set? You played volleyball professionally, and then you thought to yourself, "There's other skills that I have. It's not just this." Like
Yeah.
some people get into that part in their life where they're just like, I don't know what else I'm good at. Like, what advice would you give to somebody like that?
Oh, that one's even easier. I would say watch my video. No, I'm just kidding. Watch not my videos. Watch Peter McKinnon's videos. If you want
Oh
to
yeah.
be literally anything, we live in an era where it is so easy to get information. It used to be you had to go to a library, you had to have a teacher, you had to go to school and get a degree. If
Mhm.
you want to learn how to make videos, go to YouTube. If you want to learn how to garden, go to YouTube. If you want to learn how to, I don't know, build a skyscraper, go to YouTube. All of the information is there. It's just a matter of actually putting that into practice. So yeah, okay, we had to invest in a camera and a lens, but that's how you learn.
Mhm.
You figure out what other people are doing. The teachings are out there, and then you just practice, practice, practice. It's the same for literally anything that you want to learn how to do. So I don't know. There are no excuses anymore. I don't think. If you have time and you have, I don't know, ability, or you
Mhm.
can work on your abilities, then yeah. The world is your oyster. Go for it, and I can't wait to see what you guys create.
That's the one.
You're giving me way too much credit. You're giving me way too much credit. It's just because I have a
this
microphone.
episode is about you.
It makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about.
You do know what you're talking about. You're a skilled professional. You're
Oh, we
flying
have
all over the
fun.
place.
We have
You're
fun.
doing
I
all
don't
these
know.
great things. I'm so
We have
jealous.
Dude,
One day.
it's gonna be you. I can't wait till the one day that I'm like, yeah, I knew him. I knew him back in the day.
Back when he was normal.
No, yeah. Now I'll be too nervous to go up and say hi to you. Like, remember me,
just not
Sean?
gonna happen.
We had a podcast that one time.
This is not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. I wish I could travel as much as you, but oh crap, we have less than a minute. I wish I could travel as much as you, but I just got a job at my university, and so I'm thankful for the job. Having a salary, that's the safe thing. We spoke about this, and so hopefully it doesn't stop me from shooting and meeting all these great people like yourself and all the Olympians, and so hopefully there's more opportunities to shoot, and we'll figure it out from there. But that basically sums up this episode. This basically concludes this episode. Thank you so much, Key. Do you have any questions for me before we close out?
Any questions? Oh, can I ask anything?
Sure.
Okay. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years? It's a good question. So
we're turning the tables.
Yes, you got me. So I want to work for an athletic department or a professional team, creating media and doing digital media, basically. So in 5 years, I plan to hopefully do that while also being able to freelance and do videography on the side, and hope be married, of course, because I know we've been talking about that. But yeah, that's the plan. Especially not, I don't know if I'd be in Alabama necessarily. I want to kind of venture out elsewhere, maybe Texas. That was a dream. But yeah, that's where I'll be in. That's where I hope to see myself in 5 years.
Cool.
What about you?
Well, what I was gonna say to follow that up is for you or for anyone that's listening, I feel like sometimes we forget to keep that in mind. Like whatever it is, wherever you see yourself in 5 years, just make sure everything that you're doing now is moving you in that direction. So like you were talking about this job that you got, or if if you don't see those things as getting you from where you are now to where you want to be, then
don't
do it.
Yeah. No, I understand 100%. That's why
you only live once. You gotta make it the best you can, and if that's where you want to be, you gotta just get there. Just make all the sacrifices, make it happen, and you will.
That's a good word. Oh, thank you. Oh wait,
I gotta take that advice too. I gotta take my own advice.
Did you have what about you? What do you see yourself in 5 years?
I would like to continue doing what I'm doing. I love commentating and traveling and working in video, and I would like to start investing in real estate as well. And have a portfolio going. Yeah. Okay. That's what I want that to be the money maker, so that everything else can just be hobby and for fun.
I get that. Yeah. I get that. Yeah. Is there a specific place that you have in mind, or do you want to just?
I would love to get some properties in Miami, California, and then wherever else makes sense. Maybe over in Europe somewhere as well. It takes a lot of money to do that though, so
you're gonna make a pretty penny on every house.
I know.
No, that's fine. Do you see yourself living in Miami in 5 years?
That's tough because my family is here. I see myself in California. Like in my vision of myself, I see myself in California. But my family, my sister and her kids live here, so I want to be close to them. So in reality, I'll probably stay close to here.
That's okay. I mean, it's all right. I mean, most Olympians live in California, so I can see why.
Hey, is that the stat? Most U.S.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, just making up stats here.
I wouldn't be surprised. Either that or Texas. It's either those sports.
Did you read that stat on Miami's website? Ci Michel has the most blocks ever. Also, most Olympians live in California.
Yes, right under your name.
Wait a minute, there's something fishy here.
So that's a really specific stat.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there any other questions that you have?
That's it. I enjoyed chatting with you. I hope your peeps, whoever listens to this, I hope they feel inspired and or just inspired to take action and just do what you love, you know? That's what I hope anyone takes away from hearing us chat.
Well, that's definitely that you definitely did do that in this episode alone. You inspired me, so that's one. You already inspired one person, so
Yes.
so
I'm gonna put that
hopefully
stat on Miami's website as well. Ci Michel has inspired one person.
from Mobile, Alabama, on a Tuesday at 12 p.m. So, but
Perfect.
thank you so much, Keith, for being on. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. It
Thanks
was
for
a
having me.
pleasure, and it was an honor. I hope to run into you again before starts getting hectic and everybody's
I
working.
feel like we will now that we know each other. I feel like we'll definitely see each other at more events.
That's
We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
And I'll make sure to walk up. I'll make sure to walk up this time.
I'm gonna walk up to you. That'll be 3 for 3 then. Then I'll be like,
all right,
know
I'm
you.
gonna say I'm Travis and see if it throws you
yeah,
off.
see, be like, oh wait, shit.
But thank you all for listening to another episode of Hearing Hope podcast, and I hope to have another episode uploaded later for you guys with another guest.